Gee, your hair smells terrific.
If you were a teen girl in the 1970s, there were rules at school nobody needed to write down. They weren't posted on walls, announced over loudspeakers, or handed out in a student guide. You just learned them. And if you remember them, you remember how real they felt. Number 1. You watched. Before, you tried. Anything new. Before you changed your hair, rolled your sleeves a certain way, wore a new style, or said something bold in class, you usually watched first. You paid attention to the girls who seemed one step ahead, often the older girls, the confident girls, or the ones who somehow always looked like they understood what was happening before everyone else did. You noticed how they wore their clothes, how they carried themselves, what got admired and what got ignored completely. School had its own social rhythm, and stepping outside of it too quickly could make you feel exposed in ways that were hard to explain. Sometimes the difference between fitting in and feeling awkward was something tiny. The wrong shoes, the wrong notebook, a hairstyle that hadn't reached your school yet, or saying something in the wrong moment. So you learned to study the room before making changes yourself. That habit wasn't about copying as much as it was about reading signals. You were gathering information, learning the language of the place, understanding what felt current and what felt risky. And when you finally did try something new, it was rarely random. It came after careful observation once you felt reasonably sure the room would accept it. Number 2. You never looked like you tried too hard. One of the biggest rules was that effort had to stay invisible. You could spend time getting ready, adjusting your outfit, fixing your hair, or thinking about exactly what to say. But once you walked into school, it had to look effortless. Like you just happened to look that way, like none of it mattered. Trying too hard was noticeable, and being noticeable in the wrong way came with a cost. So the real skill wasn't caring less, it was making it look like you did. Number 3. You knew exactly where to sit. Where you sat mattered far more than adults realized. In the cafeteria, in homeroom, on the bus, at assemblies, in the bleachers, every space had an invisible map, and most students understood it without anyone ever needing to explain it. Some seats felt easy and safe, some carried status, and some clearly belonged to certain people even if no names were attached. You learned quickly that choosing the wrong seat could create a moment you didn't want. It might mean awkward silence, a look from someone across the room, or the uncomfortable feeling that you had stepped into territory that wasn't yours. So, before you sat down, you often scanned the room first, checking who was where, what the mood was, and where you fit that day. And it could change depending on the setting. A seat that felt fine in class might feel completely different in the cafeteria. A bus seat had its own rules, so did the gym, the hallway, and the lunch table. Sitting down wasn't always a simple action. It was social navigation, and once you found a place where you felt comfortable, you remembered it. Number 4. You acted like certain things didn't bother you. Embarrassing moments happened. Awkward comments happened, bad hair days happened, and sometimes the only rule was to act like none of it mattered. You learned to recover quickly, to laugh things off, to keep moving even when you wanted to disappear. Showing too much reaction could keep the moment alive longer than you wanted. So many girls became experts at pretending they were fine long before they actually felt fine. Number 5. You paid attention to what everyone else was using.
What would you name a shampoo and a conditioner that not only get a girl's hair clean and shiny? Gee, your hair smells terrific.
Products mattered more than people admitted. Shampoo, lip gloss, notebooks, pens, perfume, shoes, purses, even the kind of folder you carried. Small things could quietly signal whether you felt current, confident, or slightly out of step.
This is Susan Forrestal. She's an amateur botanist. Yardley's going to show her how changing her lips can change her whole face. Susan, take your lipstick off. Put pot of glass on.
Okay.
Pot of glass looks better than ordinary lipstick. It's wetter, shinier.
You noticed what other girls pulled out of their lockers, what sat on the bathroom counter before class, what someone casually reapplied between periods, and what everyone suddenly seemed to have at once.
I think I figured it out. Why they call them shoal exercise sandals. I got them because they feel so good, and they go almost anywhere, and because everybody else wears them. But you know, besides the comfort of the foam-padded leather strap and the smooth carved European beechwood, there's this toe grip. It sort of makes your toes hang on, which exercises and helps tone your legs as you walk.
It wasn't always about wanting the item itself. Often, it was about wanting the feeling that came with it, the sense that you were part of the same moment everyone else seemed to understand. A certain lip gloss or shampoo could feel bigger than the product because it represented belonging, awareness, and being tuned in to what mattered right then.
There's a fragrance that's here today and they call it Jolly. A different fragrance that thinks your way, yeah, they call it Jolly.
You also learned how quickly these things changed. What felt important one month could be forgotten the next, so paying attention became part of staying connected. It wasn't vanity as much as social awareness, and many girls became experts at reading trends through the smallest details long before anyone called it that. If this brought back memories you hadn't thought about in years, make sure you subscribe here on YouTube and follow me on Facebook. I post new videos like this every week, and there's always something that takes you right back. Number 6. You understood that reputations moved fast. News traveled quickly in school, and once people decided something about you, it could stick longer than it should have. A rumor, one awkward moment, one misunderstanding, one thing taken the wrong way. Suddenly, everyone seemed to know a version of the story. That made many girls careful, not necessarily because they were afraid, but because they understood how fast opinions formed and how slowly they disappeared. Number 7. You knew who to be different around. You weren't exactly the same person in every part of the school day. Around close friends, you relaxed. In certain classes, you stayed quieter. Around teachers, you adjusted. Around certain groups, you became more careful or more playful, depending on what felt safest. It wasn't fake, it was social instinct. You learned early that different spaces required different versions of you. Number 8. You fixed things quietly. A strap broke, a hem slipped, your hair flattened, mascara smudged, something didn't fit right, and you handled it quietly. With a safety pin, a brush, a mirror, a friend's help, or a fast trip to the restroom. There was an art to correcting a problem without making it a scene. Many girls became incredibly resourceful because small emergencies were common and public panic was not the style. Number 9. You pretended you weren't paying attention. Even when you noticed everything, who looked at who said what, who changed, who was upset, who walked in late, who suddenly mattered, you often acted like you hadn't noticed a thing. That was part of the skill. Being observant without looking obvious. Caring without appearing too invested. It was a social balance that many girls mastered without ever describing it out loud. Number 10. You made it look natural. That may have been the biggest rule of all. Whatever effort went into fitting in, standing out just enough, managing your image, reading the room, or protecting your feelings, it all had to look natural, like you were simply being yourself without trying. But underneath that effortless surface was a lot of awareness, intelligence, adjustment, and emotional work that nobody talked about at the time. None of these rules were official, but they were real. They shaped how girls moved through school, how they saw themselves, and how they learned to navigate a world that expected them to understand everything without being told much at all. And for the people who lived it, those silent rules are still easy to remember. Everything I featured today is linked in the description below. Go check it out. If this took you back, click the one on your screen. It's all the silent rules every 1970s teen girl followed at school.